Picture the scene, it's the year 2000. Rock DJ by Robbie Williams is number one in both the charts and our hearts. Sega is having a meltdown with its Dreamcast, and Mario Kart Double Dash is almost 3 years away. Local multiplayer video gaming had grown stagnant and something had to fill the void. Welcome internet users, my name is Connor and I'll be getting trenchfoot, fighting foreign foes and bringing home the bacon as I play Hogs of War and answer that most pertinent of questions, hidden gem or junk. Developed by Infogrames Sheffield, formerly known as Gremlin Interactive, and released for the PlayStation 1 and Microsoft Windows in August of 2000. Hogs of War is a turn-based 3D tactical combat game where you control a team of pigs who must face off against other teams of pigs across a series of missions in an attempt to secure vital resources. Drawing its inspiration heavily from the First World War, the game is presented in an overly jingoistic, isn't war great kind of way, with the poor pigs you control being given their marching orders by an oblivious general who keeps insisting that the war will be over by Christmas. Let's boot her up and get cracking, shall we? Upon creating a new save file in single player mode, you're prompted to select your team. Though they aren't named directly, they're all heavily stereotyped nations who were involved in the First World War, with green being Britain, dark blue France, light blue America, red Russia, yellow Japan and grey Germany. Each nation's pigs are given suitably hilarious, non-politically correct names and voices.
You're in the past tense.
I naturally choose green because obviously I do. We then have the option of doing a bootcamp style training mission with just one pig. Here we're led around a map and given instructions on how to control the various types of weaponry we'll experience in the war proper. For first timers I'd recommend it as a few of these weapon types can take some getting used to. Once we're all trained up we can start killing pigs properly. At the start of each mission we're shown the map upon which we'll be fighting, with our progress marked as each area we conquer is set to our team's colour. You'll notice that the world is suspiciously pig-shaped and divided into 5 areas, each with ridiculous names such as Hogs Head, Trottsville and Austria and so on. I love this map and it never fails to get a chuckle out of me. While the game loads the upcoming mission, we're giving a summary on screen of what to expect, with some hints for quick victory and some very low-res pictures of the upcoming field of battle. If there's one thing that I don't miss from this era of video games, it's disc loading times. But once it is loaded, the fun can begin. So this first mission is quite simple. 3 of your pigs versus 3 of the enemy pigs. At this point in the game, all of your pigs are just grunts, with 50 health points and a basic assortment of weapons including a bayonet, 3 grenades and a rifle. Each turn you have a set amount of time to wander around and choose an action to inflict as much damage as possible. Most missions have various things on the map that you can pick up or interact with, such as additional weapons and health boxes, artillery, vehicles, buildings and whatnot. Grunts and low tier pigs are unable to swim, so a good strategy in the early game is to knock the enemy into a nearby river or pool of water, as they will quickly lose health and likely die. Going back to the first mission, I pick up some TNT from a nearby weapon drop and use it to dispatch the first enemy, followed by using grenades and rifles against the other 2 grunts to finish them off and win us this battle. At the end of each mission we're taken to a results screen where we're shown how many of our pigs died and how many medals we earned. Now this is where a lot of the fun lies in the game, because you can use medals earned in game to promote your pigs. This gives them additional weapons and abilities that you'll need to utilise as the missions grow more difficult. Each mission awards 1 medal for completion and a 2nd medal for completion with all of your pigs still alive. Most missions moving forward will also award additional medals for completing specific objectives, such as destroying a building or a vehicle before the time runs out, or killing a high-ranking enemy pig. Most bonus medals are just lying out on the battlefield in an otherwise difficult to get to area, such as a minefield or on top of a hill. Going out of your way to get these bonus medals should be a top priority, as any left uncollected when the mission is completed are not used. There are 4 career paths that you may pursue when promoting your Porky Paratroopers. The first is heavy weapons. That sees your pig specialise in long-range, shell-based weapons such as bazookas and mortars. The engineer class provides your pig with plenty of short-range explosive weapons, such as mines and TNT. In addition, this class of pig can also see the exact location of mines in the ground. This is very useful as the need to traverse minefields comes up quite frequently. Next is the espionage class, which provides you with various things to annoy the enemy with while remaining hidden. This includes the ability to steal weapons from the enemy, use long-range sniper rifles, poison gas, hide and more. In addition, pigs in the espionage class don't appear on the enemy's minimap. Finally, we have the medic class. Now, medics don't have much in the way of cool offensive weapons, but they are provided with several tools to heal other members of their team in a supporting role. Each pig can receive promotion to their specific class 3 times, gaining more health and weapon options with each step. After that, irrespective of class, your pig can be promoted to an elite class of commando, and finally, hero, which gives them a combination of weapons and abilities from all specialists, making them powerful all-rounders who can handle most tasks. As your pigs level up, so do the enemy teams that you must face. As the game progresses, each mission will increase in difficulty, and not just in the number of pigs that you come up against. While the overall objective of each mission is the same, kill all the enemy pigs, the developers were creative in crafting each map so that you encounter different issues that you must overcome. A good example of this is mission number 8, the spying game, where your pigs all float in and land on a small island in the corner of the map. You'll waste most of your first few turns perilously hopping across even smaller islands until you reach proper land. It's at this point that you'll notice there's only one pig showing on the map. This should be pretty easy, right? Wrong. You'll soon find that the majority of the enemy team on this map are part of the espionage class, masquerading as trees and hidden from view. You'll need to make note of where you last saw each enemy pig, as they like to pop out of their hiding place, do something annoying like poison you or steal your stuff before pretending to be a tree again. Another example is mission 10, Bangers and Mash, where your team spawns in the bottom area of a valley with the enemy team spread out across the various peaks, 2 of whom are occupying long-range artillery guns. Unless you invested in the heavy weapons class of pig or have a clear view up on the enemy to shoot them, you'll need to spend a lot of time travelling around the outside of the map to get up and reach the artillery, while they rain down shells which will either seriously damage you or in some instances deal instant death. Spreading your pigs out and trying to maintain cover behind ridges is paramount in this mission to ensure that your pigs don't get slaughtered. The creativity here makes each map feel a lot bigger and more varied than they actually are. On paper, there isn't a lot of variation in the map types. Do you fancy anything other than grass, desert or a frozen map? Sorry, we're all out, but we do have the above in hills, river and island variations. But the overall design and story with each mission does go a long way to make them not feel repetitive. Given the limited map size and number of enemies on screen due to hardware limitations that they were dealing with, I'd say that the developers did a fantastic job here. Once you've finished the campaign, then done it all again with the Secret Purple team, you might be thinking that there's little else left to get out of Hogs of War. However, you would be mistaken. Easily the best part of Hogs is the local multiplayer mode, where up to 4 players can duke it out on a series of new maps such as the Moon, a giant crater, or even what appears to be a patchwork blanket dotted with minefields. If the included levels start to get boring, you can even create your own, with a generator mode available, allowing you to tweak the terrain type, amount of land, number of vehicles and pickup boxes and whatnot. It's a wonderful addition and really allows you to dial in exactly the type of map that you want to play on. One of my favourite tactics in multiplayer was to use jetpacks to damage an enemy without ending my turn, then finally blasting them with something high explosive like TNT. Was it a dick move? I suppose, but I was too busy laughing to care, and that's the fantastic thing about multiplayer on Hogs of War. It's such good fun. Graphically, The game wasn't breaking any new ground at the time of its release. Coming out at the tail end of the original PlayStation's run, we have been blessed with more visually impressive titles such as Metal Gear Solid, Resident Evil and Bubsy 3D by this point, so there's nothing here that will blow your mind in that department. The development of the game was difficult, and limitations with the amount of RAM on the PlayStation meant that in order to have as many controllable elements on screen as we actually got, texture quality and polygon count had to be dialed back. Even still, the end result is a charm and simpleness which I think works well in contrast to the otherwise more serious nature of the game's setting. Sound design in Hogs of War is, quite frankly, top notch. The majority of the voice acting is done by the late, great Rick Mayall, known primarily for his work in British sitcoms of the 80s and 90s, such as The Young Ones, Bottom and Blackadder.
Flash out, this is Captain Darling.
Captain Darling? Funny name for a guy, isn't it? Last person I called Darling was pregnant 20 seconds later.
International audiences might know him better as the titular character in the cult classic film Drop Dead Fred. The addition of Rick Mayall really elevates the game into something special. He doesn't hold back and really hams up the performance here, from the narration to the various individual pig attack and death quotes. It's all good stuff.
Topical chat between comrades. But no, resist the temptation. Oh, fuck this one.
On top of which, we also have a few suitably bombastic musical scores. The main theme being John Philip de Sousa's Liberty Bell, which despite being chosen purely because it was in the public domain, is a perfect fit for the tone of the game. Reviews at the time were mostly positive of Hogs of War, with Game Master magazine awarding it an 85% approval rating, and official PlayStation magazine giving it 4 stars out of 5, noting that it was the most pleasant surprise of the year. However, some were less enthused, mostly due to the poor graphical quality, with Game Revolution website stating that the graphics are only so-so with lots of texture warping and simple models to boot, and while not a complete waste of time and fairly entertaining, Hogs of War just isn't as good as the Worms series. Damn. Despite the sometimes mixed reviews, the game developed enough of a cult following that there was much excitement when a sequel, Hogs of War 2, was announced in 2008 for the Nintendo DS, Nintendo Wii, PlayStation 2 and Windows. Originally scheduled for release in 2009, the game was delayed and then cancelled due to financial concerns at Infogrames, which later saw them restructured as Atari SA following their acquisition by both Infogrames and Bandai Namco. There is, however, currently a remaster in the works, originally titled Hogs of War Reheated, but this has since been renamed to Hogs of War Lardcore. This has been in development for a few years and includes members of the original development team from Gremlin Interactive, with the aim to rebuild the game from the ground up using a new modern game engine while retaining original voice and audio assets to ensure maximum charm and nostalgia. I've been following one of the lead devs for a while now, a chap named Pinstripe who posts regular updates on current game progress. In fact, development of the remaster has reached a point where they've just launched a Kickstarter to gauge interest on the remaster. If you want to see what Lardcore is all about, I'll put a link to their website down in the description so you can keep an eye on the overall progress of the game. Waiting for the remaster might take a while, so what are your options if you want to play yourself some Hogs of War right now? Of course, you can play the game on original hardware if you can find a copy. It was fairly widely sold and it's not too difficult to find. The original Windows version is available through Steam, but the comments on Steam seem to be almost universal in panning this particular port, with most people stating that the game is basically unplayable on modern versions of Windows. The final option then would be to emulate the game. There are plenty of places you can find the game image online, so I'll leave that decision to sail the high seas up to you. With everything said, is Hogs of War a hidden gem, or is it junk? In this humble reviewer's opinion, it's a 49-carat gem and very much worth your time. You can make the case that when Worms made the transition to 3D, it did it better, or that kids nowadays would recoil in horror at the horribly polygonal models on offer. But I say that doesn't matter. Hogs of War offers so much fun in such a small, charming package. I have countless hours sunk into this game, whether it be on the single-player campaign or local multiplayer with my dad. If you like blowing stuff up in a humorous fashion and love the work of Rick Mayall, you need to give this game some love. What fond memories do you have of Hogs of War? Did you play it back in the day on the PS1? Will you be getting the remastered version if and when it releases? Let me know down in the comments below because I would genuinely love to hear your experiences. I'd like to thank you all for watching. I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye.